Nobody is coming to save you. Now, before you click away, that's not me saying you're alone. It's not me saying you shouldn't ask for help. And it's definitely not me saying people don't care about you. I'm saying something much simpler. At some point, you have to take responsibility for what happens next, because there is a version of waiting that looks completely innocent. You're waiting for the right opportunity. You're waiting for someone to apologize, waiting for somebody to love you properly, waiting until you have enough money, waiting until you're confident, waiting until you feel motivated, waiting until life becomes less complicated, and you keep saying, I'll do it when. But sometimes that's when never comes, and years can disappear inside that sentence. Let me tell you a story, not a perfect story, just a very human one. There was a woman, I'll call her Maya. Maya had this dream. She wanted to open a small clothing business, nothing huge. She just wanted something that belonged to her. She had ideas, she had notebook full of them, she had even picked a name. Every time somebody asked her, so when are you starting? She would laugh and say, soon. And she meant it. She really did. She just kept waiting for the perfect time. She wanted more money first. Then she wanted somebody to help her. Then she wanted to learn more. Then she wanted to feel confident. And every reason sounded reasonable. That's the dangerous part. Nothing sounded like an excuse. It sounded like preparation. 1 year passed, then another, then another. And one afternoon, Maya was scrolling through social media and saw a girl she went to school with. That girl had started a small clothing business. It wasn't perfect. The pictures weren't amazing. The packaging weren't fancy. But she had started, and Maya just stared at her phone. Then she puts it down and she cried. Not because she hated the girl. She was actually happy for her. She cried because she suddenly realized something. She had spent 3 years preparing to start, while somebody else had spent 3 years actually starting. And that realization hurts, because sometimes the hardest person to be angry with is yourself. I think a lot of us have a version of Maya inside us. We know what we want. We know what we should probably do. We even know the first step, but we are waiting for something. And sometimes that something is courage. Sometimes it's money. Sometimes it's approval. But sometimes it's simply the willingness to be uncomfortable, because starting something means you might fail. And honestly, some people would rather stay stuck than risk finding out they weren't good as they hoped. That's a hard truth, but it's real. Because if you ever start, you never have to discover whether you could have succeeded. You can keep saying one day, and one day protects you from disappointment, but it also protects you from possibility. And I'm not saying everyone should suddenly quit their job tomorrow and chase a dream. Please don't misunderstand me. Responsibility matters. Bills are real. Children are real. Family responsibilities are real. Some people genuinely don't have the freedom to make huge changes overnight. I'm talking about the small things, the things you can actually control, the application you keep postponing, the course you keep saying you will take, the conversation you keep avoiding, the boundary you know you need to set, the habits you keep promising you will change, the idea you've been carrying around for 5 years. Sometimes the life you want isn't asking for one giant brave decision. It's asking for 10 small uncomfortable ones. And then there's another kind of waiting for someone to rescue you emotionally. This one is harder, because sometimes you really were hurt. Someone betrayed you, someone abandoned you, someone treated you badly, and now you're waiting for them to come back and make it right. You're waiting for the apology. You're waiting for them to finally understand what they did. You're waiting for them to admit, I hurt you. And maybe they should. Maybe you deserve that apology. But what if they never give it? What if they never become self-aware? What if they don't even think they did anything wrong? Are you going to spend another 5 years waiting for somebody who already took enough from you? At some point, you have to say, I deserved better then, and I deserve better now. And you move on. Not because what happened was okay, but because you refuse to let it keep happening to you in your mind. I remember something somebody once said: you can't keep waiting for the person who broke the window to come back and fix the view. And that stayed with me, because sometimes we are staring at the same broken windows for years, thinking maybe they will come back. Meanwhile, there's a whole world outside and we're missing it. And here is where I want it to be brutally honest. Sometimes we are the problem. not always, but sometimes. And I think there is nothing strangely powerful about being able to admit that, because if everything is always somebody else's fault, then you have no power. Think about it. If your whole life depends on your parents changing, your partner changing, your boss changing, your friends changing, your circumstances changing, then you're basically sitting in the passenger seat of your own life, and that's a scary place to live, because you're waiting for everybody else to make decisions before you even make yours. At some point, you have to say, okay, maybe I can't control them, but what can I control? And that question can change everything. You can't control who stays, but you can control who you keep giving access to. You can't control who believes in you, but you can decide whether you believe in yourself enough to keep going. You can't control whether somebody apologizes, but you can decide whether you're going to keep carrying the anger. You can't control the opportunities you've missed, but you can decide whether you're going to miss the next one too. You can't change yesterday, but you can stop using yesterday as an excuse to destroy today. And I know somebody is probably thinking, but I'm tired. I know. That's why I'm not telling you to change your entire life tomorrow. I'm saying start somewhere. One thing, that's it. Make one phone call, clean one corner, send one application, save the first amount of money, have the difficult conversation, take the first class, go for the walk, write the first page, pray again. Whatever it is, start, because sometimes we make changes feel so amorous that we never begin, and that's something else. Please don't confuse waiting on God with refusing to move. Sometimes people say, I'm just waiting on God, and I understand what you mean. But sometimes we are not waiting on God. We are waiting because we are afraid. And those are two different things. Faith doesn't mean you know exactly how everything will work out. Sometimes faith looks like taking the next step without knowing where the whole road ends. You can pray and still act. You can trust God and still prepare. You can believe and still walk. You can ask for direction and still get up and move. And maybe the reason this message feels uncomfortable is because you already know what you've been avoiding. You know the conversation, you know the decision, you know the habit, you know the dream, you know the person you need to stop chasing, you know the thing you've been saying you'll do one day. You know, and maybe you don't need another motivational video. Maybe you just need to stop negotiating with yourself, because there comes a point where thinking about doing something becomes its own form of procrastination. You keep planning, researching, talking, thinking, preparing, and never actually doing. At some point, you have to move on. But please hear me, nobody is coming to save you. Does not mean you have to become hard. You can still need people. You can still cry. You can still ask for help. You can still say, I don't know what I'm doing. You can still let somebody hold your hand through a difficult season. Being responsible for your own life doesn't mean carrying everything alone. It means recognizing that your life belongs to you, and that's actually beautiful, because it means you get to participate in what happens next. Maybe you wasted time. Okay, don't waste more time hating yourself for wasting it. Maybe you made a terrible decision. Learn from it. Maybe you trusted the wrong person. Learn. Maybe you failed. Learn. Maybe you are behind. Fine. Start from where you are. You don't need to pretend you're somewhere else. You don't need to lie about your age. You don't need to hide your mistakes. You don't need to make your past disappear. Just don't let it become your permanent address. Nobody is coming to save you, and maybe that's not the bad news we think it is, because you're still here. You still have choices. You still have a voice. You still have another morning waiting for you. You can still ask for help. You can pray. You can cry. You can be afraid, and then you can get up. Not because everything is suddenly okay, but because your life is worth participating in. So stop waiting for somebody else to begin your own life for you. Start small. Start scared. Start imperfectly. Just start. And if you're not ready today, that's okay. But don't make not today after 5 years. I'll see you in our next conversation.